Mike the Vegas Guy coming to you with another buffet review, and this time I am finally getting over to the Wynn Resort and Casino for their weekend dinner buffet. This was a special occasion, so I was cheating on my diet. I'm going all out to share this experience with you. They have a really great feature where you can pay ahead of time and skip the line. Here's this little screen I'm showing there. It allows you, as long as you go to their website and book a reservation and pay in advance, you get to skip the line, go to this priority seating line to the right, where you will wait for a much shorter amount of time than the people who didn't make reservations. You still have to wait like any buffet, but you've already prepaid when you show up. It's really convenient. I'm showing you my receipt right here. This was supposedly a holiday event. It was EDC weekend. It wasn't even Memorial Day, but they were charging $102.95. Oh, and I had to show this. I asked for wet naps, and they had actual wet nap brand wet naps, so I found that interesting. They have these little placemats with more information. They have this extra beverage package for $33, and it said on the placemat that there was a 2-hour time limit, which is nice. Here are the regular prices, normally $79.99 before taxes. So this was a special event I was here for, $103. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to show you everything at the buffet. I'm not going to sample everything. I couldn't possibly sample. No one could. Every possible dish here. But I am going to show you every single thing. They do have this salad section. You know I'm a fan of build your own salads. These were all pre-made salads, but they also did have other kind of fixins, onions and tomatoes on the side for you to put things in case you didn't love all the ingredients. But they did have the dressings made already on the salads there. Next to it is a caviar bar. This is a really high-end buffet, folks. They have these little pre-made bites of caviar in those little cups. I have to say, the other ingredients kind of overshadowed the caviar. It was very little caviar in those bites, but hey, you can have all you want. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet, so it was worth it if you're into caviar, I guess. After the salad, they had soups. They had 4 soups on display. They had, at the end there, clam chowder and tomato bisque, and plenty of rolls lying around, all kinds of breadsticks and things scattered throughout all of the different stations of the buffet. Next up is the charcuterie station. Of course, I always say I don't go to buffets to snack, so I did kind of skip over all of this. There were so many amazing high-end items at this buffet, but I am showing it to you here. There's cheese and everything. Let's move right on. Next to that is a seafood section. There's more than one. There's seafood everywhere throughout this buffet. But here they are, the hot crab legs. Later on in the night, they actually had lobster claws, hot lobster claws in that same steam tray with the crab legs. I think that might have been part of this holiday meal. I've heard other reviewers say that they didn't have lobster at this buffet, but tonight they did. It was incredible. Next up is pizza. That was a mushroom truffle pizza at the end there. I had a slice of that and the pepperoni. It was excellent. Moving on down, they had all kinds of dishes in little grab-and-go ramekins, and I don't know what you call, I guess those are metal ramekins. More rolls lying around, lots of carbs, but I was cheating on the diet tonight, so I'll get to my plates in just a minute. This was truffle potatoes au gratin. It was incredible. They had them all pre-made in these little squares that you could scoop out yourself. This whole section was a lot of like pasta, side dishes, mashed potatoes, little home cooking kind of comfort food kind of things. Next, the middle of the buffet is kind of a never-ending parade of meats, not always at a carving station. Over there those were beef ribs. If I have any complaint at all, they only had beef ribs. They didn't have any other kind of pork ribs like spare ribs or baby back ribs, which I've seen at a lot of other buffets, but I guess you can't complain too much here. That's a big stack of filet mignon that they carved up there. Over at the next station here, these were all pork products. They had bacon wrapped pork loin, pork belly. On the end there is a pork steamship, which I've never even heard of before. On the other side here is beef steamship, and that's prime rib behind all of those roasted vegetables there. So they've got every kind of meat you want, just, no baby back ribs, I guess. Here's my first plate. I had that beef rib, the bacon wrapped pork loin, a slice of pizza, the au gratin potatoes, the clam and mussels casino there. Everything was just incredible. Moving on to the Asian section, they had items in those steamer baskets. It was a little awkward trying to lift the lid and scoop it out and hold your plate. There wasn't a lot of room for that, but I guess that's what you have to live with at this buffet. They have a pho station. Someone will make you whatever you want in a broth there. And chicken wings and fried rice here. So there's something for everyone. You can bring kids to this. It was half price for little children, although it's still going to be expensive, of course. Next up, we're heading into the seafood area. Again, this is the poke station. They had that tuna poke was fantastic. I actually went back for seconds for that. And around the corner here is sushi. Probably the best buffet sushi I've had in Vegas outside of an actual sushi restaurant. There are plenty of great places to get all-you-can-eat sushi. It's always going to be better than at a place that does sushi as an afterthought. But here we go around the corner, all of the chilled seafood. There were mussels, and this is the greatest mountain of shrimp cocktail I've ever witnessed in my life. Those are all jumbo shrimp, by the way. Those are huge, already peeled. None of that peel and eat crap here at the Wynn buffet. I was so impressed by that. And last but not least, we have the crab legs and lobster claws. These are all cold, of course, but I'll show you my plate here. The crab legs are already split in half. You just have to take your fork to them and eat the meat. No work involved. I wish they were able to do that with the lobster claws, but they did cut the claw itself, so you were still able to kind of break it open with your hands. Now again, I'm not sure if they always offer lobster claws, but for the $103 on this particular night, you can't get much better than that. That was an incredible seafood section. Now again, I'm just showing you everything that there was to be offered. I'm not going to make you suffer through watching me eat everything, and I couldn't possibly have eaten everything or sampled everything. They have a 2-hour time limit. 1 hour into this, I was already, questioning my life choices. Of course, the beauty of a buffet is not everything on the menu is going to be something for everyone. You can choose the things you like, especially if you have dietary restrictions. It makes it much easier. Here's the big shot of what it looks like, all the food to your right. Now on the left, the dessert section is completely separate. The dessert section is an experience all by itself. I'll let you read the sign. There was this temporary art installation decorating the dessert area with 18th century inspired, dessert-inspired artwork. I'll give you a full tour of this. It's like walking in to a little patisserie that's all by itself, separated from the rest of the buffet. I assume that they change out the decor on a semi-regular basis. At times it's hard to even decipher what is artwork and what is an actual dessert that you can eat here. They had this display of gelato and sorbet that people will scoop out for you. And next to that is a s'mores station. They have all these ingredients and they have a blowtorch. Someone will make you your own custom-made s'mores. S'more? Is that the singular? I digress. This is just the first half of the dessert section, by the way. There are these 2 separate hallways. You kind of have to walk out and walk back in. I'm not joking around when I say that this was its own experience. It was so incredible just looking at these desserts here. I personally don't have much of a sweet tooth. If you watch my channel enough, you know I stay away from desserts. I was very tempted with this trip, and I told you I was breaking my diet, so I'll show you my plate in a moment. Again, this was the first half of the room, and now I'm going to take you around the corner. This was actually in between, this little carousel. This was just decorations setting the mood for your experience here. It's exactly the same vibe you get just by walking into the Wynn Resort and all of their topiaries all around. So many things to just take a picture of, get a selfie with, and they extend that into the dessert section here. Now, almost all of these desserts were small bite form. You could fill a plate up with all these little individual pieces of cake and things, but I don't think you could sample them all. I think if you tried to sample half of these, you'd go into a diabetic coma and cease to be. So you could just pay the admission, just eat desserts your entire stay here, not even touch the crab legs, if you're so inclined. This was a crepe station. I'll come back around and show you that on the other side here. I went back around. You know, I've said in the past, every good buffet is judged on its bread pudding. This was called triple chocolate bread pudding, as well as some apple cobbler there. Everything, it's just over the top. They have everything you can imagine. Sticky toffee, there's churros. They had everything. Of course, don't forget, anything you select from this dessert area, you can ask them to put a scoop of ice cream or gelato on top of it. That's what they have here with the crepes. I thought it was a gelato station as well when I first walked in, but it's crepes and toppings, and they'll give you some ice cream as well. I did cave in and have some of it. Very little. I try to stay away from sugar, but I took a little sliver of that bread pudding. I did scoop that cookies and cream ice cream on top of it. It was incredible. And some fruit, the little passion fruit strawberry pudding there, and felt like I was eating healthy. But anyway, there it is. That was my trip to the Wynn Buffet. I think if you go on a normal night when they're only charging $80 before tax and you pre-book and you don't have to wait in the line, you really can't beat the experience here. The food was incredible. I would certainly go again. I paid the $103 before tip. It was a little much, very extravagant. I don't regret it, but I probably wouldn't spend that kind of money on any buffet going forward. I'm very curious to come back here and try the brunch sometime. Tell me in the comments if you've been here before, what did you think of the Wynn Buffet, and which Vegas buffet would you like to see me review next? Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing. Stay tuned for more of my buffet, hotel, and show reviews. Until then, I'm Mike the Vegas Guy.